we used to talk a lot, and a lot of the things she used to say, I'll be like, I can't let that go over my head. I need to write this down.
Yeah.
So I just started writing down a lot of the things she used to say, and it just turned into like quotes. Do you know what I mean? I'm just writing down quotes. Even sometimes I'll be talking to her, I'll say something. I'm like,
That was a banger.
bro, did I just say that? Write that down, bro. So after a while, like, yeah, bro, it's funny.
I know the one.
Yeah, you shock yourself. You're like, I'm actually deep. Like,
I got bars.
It's your boy Nisi. Yeah, Money Way, Zaire Way.
It's him.
Yeah, thank you, DJ. We have DJ with the wonderful Mr. Fresh Prince top. Yeah, Jefferson with the bedazzled wrist. You know, Chrissy Chris, chain slanging.
Chain and tail.
Yeah. Then we have Ish in the background. Shout out to Glow Glow and Flyder.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Urban Air 404.
Let's not forget not too average as well. Not in
Oh, sorry. Master Joe, my apologies.
Average Joe, but he's not average.
Yeah.
We'll find them soon. Where's Wallet?
Yeah.
Above average Joe.
Above average Joe.
Now,
It's that.
I'm gonna jump in straight like this, yeah. In secondary school, what music did you listen to?
funny enough.
Wait. Who the hell are we talking to right
No,
now?
Jefferson.
Man just dashed
Oh,
him in the
my
whole.
apologies.
Who the hell
My
is
apologies.
this?
I'll explain why I done that. My apologies.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Where I come from, his name rings bells in the south. you know?
Bells. Tree
know?
in
Bells
the
in the south.
house.
I just assumed that you man them know who this is. If you know what I mean.
Jeffy
My
Jeff.
apologies. Big Jeff, you know. Mr. Jefferson, you know. He writes, he does it all, you know.
Off of the year, baby.
Come on, bro.
Straight from South London.
Come on,
/
bro.
Kent.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm blessed, bro. I'm all good, man. Thanks for having me on. Like,
No,
I appreciate it.
Gangster.
This is why we love
Thanks
you,
for
know?
coming, bro.
This is why you love you, Mr. Thomas Muller over here.
I'm screaming.
Director.
Not much pace, but the IQ's there.
Yeah.
Spielberg.
You get me?
Thank you. Now, I'm going to spin the coupe. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Chrissy Chris?
Do your donut.
Okay.
You
So,
turn.
what type of music do you listen to in secondary school?
Cool. Funny enough, I used to listen to like American rap, a lot of Biggie, a lot of Tupac. I think mainly Tupac, you know, I love Tupac. I think he's the one that introduced me into like, I don't know, the idea of being young, being black, you know, racism, police brutality, etc., etc.
Okay. So, now, you see when you're running through secondary school and like you're carving identity and you're making friendship circles, did your taste in music change?
Nah, not really, you know. Actually, probably year 7, year 8, I started listening more to like street stuff, but I think that's because I don't know, the music was out there. That's like Bebo and MySpace started coming out, so you had more music. But before that, obviously, it was like Channel U. I don't know if anyone remember.
Yeah, shout out Channel U.
So I used to watch Channel U. But apart from that, it was like, yeah.
Because like I went to school in Ireland,
Mm.
yeah, and I came here 16, 17 for university. So if you know like British culture, back then it was just Channel U and Channel AKA and shit like EastEnders. So for example, because of Channel U and Channel AKA, I know who Giggs is, this guy. I know who Pound Sterling is, you know, yeah? But my knowledge of like, even, I didn't know Croydon existed when I was in Ireland. Because they only speak about the Nam or Bricky
100.
or Hackney.
Far south.
That's what I mean. Like,
And that was far.
Yeah, it's already.
You go Brixton, it's long.
yeah. So,
A-Town.
how has it been growing up in Croydon?
You know, growing up, I love Croydon. You know, like Croydon's my home.
Mm.
I think it was interesting because in Croydon, it's like everyone knows each other somehow. You know, everyone's like somehow connected. So it was weird. Like growing up, it was nice. It was innocent. It was like I don't know, like you know your friends' moms, you call them auntie. You know people from that area. But then obviously as you grow up, like I don't know, year 7, year 8, year 9, things start changing. You know that person's beefing that person. That person's beefing that
world.
Exactly. So everyone that was once friends started having problems. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to navigate your way out of them problems without getting too involved.
Now, I remember I was chatting to one girl that I was chatting to, yeah, and she was talking about how she used to live compromised state. She was talking about how she used to come from a estate in Greenwich that got torn down. Yeah, and then the council moved them around basically into other accommodation.
As they do.
So when you talk about how you're together, then as you grow, you separate. what do you cling on then to when you're grown and you're separating? You don't have the people that you once called family.
And of course, I think as you grow up, you just like kind of make new friends. Do you know what I mean? As you grow up, like I had friends who I don't know, like they went to prison. Their parents sent them back home.
Yeah.
You know, so your friendship group or circles like kind of evolving and growing as you're growing. Certain people dropping out, some people coming in, and I think you just go with it. You know, like you just go with it.
I guess it's just about moving forward, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like moving forward, like. You know, from year 70 and 9, obviously I didn't have that mentality where like I'm moving forward. I was just like, I was living on a day by day basis.
Yeah.
But after like year 10, that's when I started like kind of
What age is your 10?
15.
15.
Yeah.
No, it's your 15, 16 period, yeah. That's like what, 8? Is that your A levels? Or what?
That's GCSEs.
GCSEs, yeah.
Last year.
No, that time period is crucial, you know. It's mad, you know, because
Tender.
so tender.
I would say even the 2 years before that.
Oh, really?
13, 14.
Highly impressionable.
Yeah. Highly impressionable. You're like just getting out of that. I'm not a child anymore. But I'm not grown yet.
Facts.
Yeah.
Because the big boys are around. We're still the big boys.
But you see that time period between the 13, 14, yeah, but I'm not a child, but I'm not grown yet. When I hit 16, 17, 18, I think I'm grown, but I'm not grown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The mind's still warped.
Yeah,
You're trying to do big boy
bro.
shit.
But But you have responsibilities though. There's like stakes to what you do, like even from school and stuff.
Well, once you reach
like 15, Jesus,
Yeah.
like when you're 13, 14, like what you doing in school? You're just there, bro. You're just there just to be there.
That's what I'm thinking. Is there is no stakes because when I was that age, it didn't really feel like school was even real. I was just there.
You're just there, innit?
Yeah.
Existing.
After school though,
Pay pat ball money
you know
out.
what I'm saying?
like-
Yeah. It's like there was activities going on.
Activity, yeah.
Those kind of years when you're kind of, I guess, speaking and understanding the language of like outside the house. You know, you're kind of figuring out how to navigate yourself outside the yard. And I think it was talking about similar to, it's almost like a similar feeling when you're in uni.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that same kind of, I'm new to this new environment, but how do I apply myself to this environment? So how did you kind of work through the whole like adaptability mindset and kind of knowing yourself through that whole process? Because I'm sure you made mistakes as well along the path as well.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was like, especially at uni, you know, I think that's when like my journey of self-discovery really started. I'll probably say from year 10 to year 13 were like the best years of my life.
Best years of your life?
Best years of my life.
Yeah.
Like I was just doing well. Like everything I touched just turned into gold. Do you know what I mean? Like I was doing like really
Prolific.
well. Like and then obviously uni, I went to uni and that's when it really like, because I think
Shook him up.
I don't know, nature and nurture is both as important. I think environment is like so important.
Yeah.
Like that's probably as important as like how much potential you have, you know. And obviously being in an environment, because before that I always tried to isolate myself. You know, like in 2013 I didn't even know who Chief Keef was. I found out about Chief Keef in like 2015. Like, so 2 years later, because I weren't listening to that.
Yeah.
I was listening to like Mariah Carey.
Man.
Like, I changed my music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I weren't listening to drill. I weren't listening to rap.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I was studying, I was focused, super locked in, you know, so I weren't going to the parties like that. But obviously, when I go uni, like everyone's going party.
Yeah,
I learn about Chief Keef. There's this different energy. I'm thinking, wow.
You're going party by force.
By force.
It's
you
the
know?
influence, isn't it? The power of influence.
It's the influence. And I think my environment at the time just overwhelmed me. And since then, I've been trying to like, just find myself again, you know, because before that I thought I found myself. When I went uni, I'm good.
Yeah.
I've got like good A-level results. I've got this, I got that. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I went there and it was just like, psh,
Was it
opposite.
the academic side that was like the biggest hurdle, or was it just the general life stuff, being on your own essentially?
It was a bit of both.
Okay,
you know,
cool.
like because before uni I wanted to do law, but I only wanted to do law because everyone does law and you're smart if you do law. How do you
serious,
get
I'm a
into
serious
someone?
guy.
Yeah. So
Status.
exactly. So I went there doing law and I just hated it. Like I hated it. Funny enough, as much as I hated it, I didn't feel anything. You know, I passed all of it, but I hated it.
You're one of them guys.
Yeah,
You know, the man them hate him. Like, yeah, he's just busting it, bro.
I'm jailous.
It's funny, like, because I hated it, I didn't really go lectures.
Oh,
you know what I
okay.
mean? Like I spent like a lot of the time at home, just like doing my own thing. I was kind of going through depression as well. You know, like I weren't used to not having people around that support system.
100%.
You know, like obviously when I went uni, stopped going to church.
Yeah.
You know, like
Communities.
so it was really difficult to adapt to uni, and I feel like Yeah, it knocked me. I can't lie. Uni proper knocked me. Like, it was hard, but we made it through.
100%.
You know what I mean? We
How
was
do you think you
resilient.
made it through?
God.
God.
I have to say God, man. Honestly, I don't know how I found the strength sometimes. Like, I'll tell you some crazy stuff. I got kicked out of uni one time. I got kicked out for that. I'm not gonna go into that, but I got in trouble in uni. And if you look at it, it was like there was no way I was getting back in. Even if I did appeal, they gave me the option to appeal. You know, like, and I was like, I'm not appealing, and I weren't gonna appeal. You know, but obviously my dad forced me to appeal. You know, and I was having a conversation with my boy, and he got kicked out literally like the week before.
Oh, crazy!
And my disciplinary hearing or my appeal was literally like the week after. So I remember talking to him, and he was just crying because he was just broken, innit?
Literally.
And he hugged me, and he's like, Jeff, like, if you get another opportunity, like,
Take it.
don't mess it up. But you know, sometimes when people are talking to you, and you're like the person's talking to you, but you see it as it's coming from a deeper source. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I knew that was God talking to me, saying, "Yo, I'm gonna give you another
Pattern up.
chance.
Yeah.
Pattern up." You know, like, and I got back in like the week afterwards, miraculously.
Crazy.
Then I changed my course because I was doing law. I changed it to international politics.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I enjoyed international politics
Yeah.
much more. So like my well-being, I was much happier.
100% mental.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said a couple of things earlier about the environment being important. Yeah. And then you said that university rocked you. Yeah. And then you said you got kicked out. So there's a documentary the BBC called Being Black and British. Yeah.
Okay.
The 4 black people they have there, I don't relate with any of them, but that's a different conversation. Whatsoever.
Yeah, it was a weird lineup.
Yeah, weird lineup. Yeah, like some of them are begging it. It's ridiculous.
Oh god.
Yeah. Now the first episode, because I was sharing with one of my homegirls, and then she put it on. She wanted me to watch and speak to her about it. Yeah, and then the first episode was about black people being excluded from school because you're the head of the year 8 at what school?
Oasis.
Now,
Big up, man.
in your opinion, why do you think there is a high proportion of black youths that do get expelled?
Yeah, expelled.
Expelled from school. Especially from your experience of how when you got in trouble and you got kicked out, was there certain like environmental factors that helped contribute towards that, or was it just your own
doing like, purely?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I think that's a multifaceted question. Let me unpick it. Like,
do your thing, bro.
Choose one avenue and go for it,
course,
bro.
yeah,
Trust me, because it's a lot still.
So in terms of like getting kicked out, like ultimately, like I'm a huge believer in like self-responsibility. You know, like I don't like to group people and say, you know, they're getting kicked out for
because
this.
of this.
Like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like
not that simple.
It's not that simple. Like I feel like if you don't allow your environment to dictate your life and get you and make you and almost force you to make like difficult and very bad choices, then you'll stay on the right track. You know what I mean? Like as long as you're on the right track, you probably won't get kicked out. But I think like it's just environment. You know, like it's like social validation. You know, people wanna fit in. They want to be cool. They want to be with the cool kids. And normally it's the cool kids that get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, but also in school it's funny because like I was talking to a teacher the other day, and he was telling me how he doesn't remember the names of the good students, only the names of the bad students. And I feel like society's like that. You know,
100%.
when you do good, you're often overlooked.
100%,
you know, like because we're talking about all the black kids getting kicked out, but there's not enough of a focus on the black kids that are doing well and staying in school and smashing it. You know, and I think in society we always like focus on the negative, like,
100%.
especially when it comes to like black people.
100%. Look at the news.
Yeah, exactly.
All we do is focus on the beef and
of course.
who got shot and who's coming up now
Who's
and
going to jail.
You know, funny enough as well, working as a teacher like just completely changed my life, changed my perspective.
okay.
Like, you know, like students who, like, this is obviously like I'm kind of generalizing here, but many students who get kicked out or get into a lot of trouble, if you look at their home life, there's like you see certain issues there. Do you know what I mean? Either, I don't know, like dad's abusive, or you know, mum's addicted to drugs, or like you know, like different things.
It's
like
they've had to grow up way more at home. They have to grow up way more than any normal child would, or they're when they go home,
it's just long. You know what's funny as well is like at home they can't be themselves. They can't be kids. You know, so they come school and they have to compensate for that. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. They have to compensate for it. They have to like. That's when they get a chance to let their hair down and all that energy that they reserved, like, and they couldn't express at home. They go to school and they just act
release,
up, like just release everything.
And a lot of teachers aren't even equipped for all that.
No, they are.
So they're just getting bullied by 12,
They have a lot.
13, 14-year-olds.
Yo,
No,
like,
a lot equipped, or there's some teachers you can tell just can't be bothered.
bro, you know what? Like, it's
I
not
don't get
even
paid
teachers.
enough.
It's not even teachers aren't equipped. Let me tell you something. Yeah, as a teacher, there's something called GDPR. You know what that is?
GDPR,
yeah.
privacy and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all privacy.
Their protection.
But they've done it in a way where, like, I teach English, right?
Mm.
Like, so
Makes sense.
unless exactly, so unless I need to know, I don't know anything regarding the lives of the students I teach based on GDPR. You know, but if you're head of year, or if you're like SLT, like you're privy to that information.
What's SLT?
SLT senior leadership team.
Okay.
You know, so if you're in the like upper echelons of the school, then you know what's going on, like everything that's going on. Whereas if you're a teacher, they don't tell
People
you.
on the need to know.
Like, but that's difficult because I don't know. Imagine like, I don't know, like someone's mum died last week or something, you know, or mum hit the sister, you know, like, and
something
if I'm
traumatic
teaching,
happened,
exactly, something traumatic happened, and I'm
Yeah.
teaching a student, I don't know this, so they've come in. You know, the first thing they've told me to do is shut up.
Literally.
Me, I'm getting upset. I'm getting emotional.
Yeah,
Thinking, why are you being
mad,
horrible?
yeah.
You know, and it's like, and I think if teachers were
That's
equipped
crazy.
with the adequate knowledge, contextual knowledge for every student they teach, I think teachers will just be a bit more understanding and compassionate.
Yeah.
Okay. See, with that,
That's
I'm
crazy.
I'm gonna jump in with. I'm gonna link that to the thing you said about the environment. So, see, with school, I think school doesn't do a good enough job in like equalizing where people come from. If that makes sense. Like, they put all of you in a classroom and you're meant to all compete on the same level, but people come from different positions. So I agree with you in the sense of like, someone might be like a child, but they're the guardian of their parents. Yeah. And then they have to come into school the next day. The attention span is not going to be there.
Of course.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you think my man is just a piece of shit. If you know what I mean. So you treat my man like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
You know, one thing I've realized, sorry to interject.
No,
like,
jump.
With them kids, a lot of them just want attention.
100%,
Do you know what I mean?
man.
It doesn't matter what type of attention.
Literally.
They just want attention. And more time, like, if you look deep enough and you give them the attention they need, they're fine. You know, they just want attention. Because a lot of the students, and I'm saying a lot because like, I was in the same school I taught in, is the same school I went to as a student. So I had friends.
Boy.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
when I was going to my friends' houses, like what I'm seeing in the lives of my students is what I used to see in the lives of my friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you start putting two together and just certain patterns and cycles start repeating itself.
And that's why teachers that come from similar backgrounds, teaching
Important.
people from the same backgrounds is extremely important.
It's representation.
Because a teacher that doesn't understand you will kick you out every single day of the week. And you know, that will also have in turn a knock-on effect on your life and stuff. You might even end up thinking you're not even good at education.
The problem's not getting solved, it's just getting pushed back further and further.
It's like putting a plaster over it, but you're not really dealing with the
thing's still bleeding.
with the cause.
How can you solve the problem though? So like, for example, I'll take you for example. The environment you grew up in and coming from Croydon and your experiences, certain point of time, did you feel like you had to take accountability and make certain changes?
Yeah. Like year 9, I got into like big trouble in school. Got me kicked out for like 2 months. And then like there was a series of things that happened that I'll probably like if I ever come on again, I'll go deeper into that side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do that later. But yeah, a lot of things happened. But in year 10, after getting kicked out, and I had to go centre for like 2 months, and the quality of students there, like, you know, just all the like everyone's kicked out of school. You got the worst, the worst quote unquote
school
students.
jail. That's school jail.
Exactly.
Our thing was like exclusion. No, inclusion.
Inclusion
center.
included.
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, nah, I need to like take accountability and obviously change.
Yeah.
Like my mom was always crying because I was always out, etc.,
Yeah,
etc.
100%.
So I just told my guys, like, but obviously what happened was like real big, like real big.
Bigger than school.
Like, funny enough, I can actually go into it. Like, do you want me to go into it?
Yes, skate around.
Are the statute of limitations?
You know what I'm saying? Skate
No.
around specifically.
Say what you're comfortable with and what
Yeah,
you
of
don't
course,
comfortable with.
of
Don't
course.
say.
Literally.
Like, I'll say in another podcast. I'll say in another podcast.
You did the calculations. Like,
The maths right now.
The maths. I need to
This is 25 to life, you know.
I need to get it.
It's long. It's long.
I need to get it cleared from my head.
And that's also my point though. See, as kids, there was so many things that even myself personally that I went through during secondary school, and most of my family members never knew. Furthermore, you know, some of my guys never knew. So we'd be chilling all day, every day, and I might just have like you know, an outburst or something. I might just punch someone or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously whatever's going on outside is going on outside. But to the most people, when you're feeling like, you know, you're dealing with a lot of stuff by yourself, or you're just going from where you're going from and then coming to school as just a place to tap in.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard to kind of bridge those gaps.
Yeah.
And you end up seeing those type of people, like, you know, many people were stabbed and whatever, you know, whatever in my school. So that just shows that our school, you know, is representative to the whole issue at large.
Yeah,
of course. You know, so
it's not exclusive to yours,
bro.
Yeah, a lot of schools in London.
It's just it's that network, innit? Like you might find someone, for example, I don't know, younger Jefferson is trying to come up on his way in life, and he comes from, you know, an area that's a bit tumultuous, but he has obviously a lot of talent. Yeah, you know, if your teacher or if your environment or whatever isn't nurturing to those strengths, then obviously the only way he can go is to the nurture, which is the conversation that was having before. Yeah, but obviously you're here right now teaching. It's a 360 moment. What makes you feel like, you know, you've gone through this whole journey just to kind of fulfill a certain purpose? That's what it seems like. The vibes are. So for
me, just like leaving a legacy. Like, I love that school, like, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for that school and the teachers that invested time and energy into me. You know, so when I finished uni, I was quite puzzled. I was clueless. I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, but a lot of my teachers kept texting me like, "Come back, teach and be a TA," or like, "We miss you," etc., etc. Yeah. So I went to visit one time, and there was a teacher called Mr. Yates, like, because he used to be my PE teacher. So this was after uni, and he was just so proud of me. Well done on graduating. He's like, "There's always this is your home. There's always a space for you," etc.
Big up Mr. Yates though.
Yeah, and he's a legend still. So I went back. So it's like cathartic, because I'm trying to be the person that I needed. Do you know what I mean? Like, and obviously I had that, but many students, like, they might not have that. Do you know what I mean? So I try to be that teacher for as many students as possible.
They won't forget you, I'll tell you that much.
Bro, one thing I've realised, you never forget teachers.
I'm telling you, man.
You don't forget the same
ever. Like, even like Ian Wright, like, have you seen that video?
Yeah.
Recent, there was one for Adele as well, where her teacher came on, Bukayo Saka.
Right.
Like, literally, like, last week they released a video of all his teachers. Like, so yeah, it's deep. It's much deeper than just being a teacher. I feel like sometimes you're a counselor, sometimes you're a big brother, sometimes you're a judge. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's different roles, but yeah, it's interesting.
Sometimes you're an older brother, like a father to some of them, to uncle.
Yeah, real talk, secretly,
like, bro. Real talk. And so, like, as a teacher, like, some students may see you more than they see their own parents.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like, because let's say they get home at 5, mum finishes work at 6. By the time mum comes home, she's tired. Do you know what I mean? So little man's in his room for like most of the evening. You know, it's like, go speak to mum, go bed. But after, when he sees me, he see me for the whole day. He's coming to me and saying, you know, so it's like, you almost become like a father figure to some of these kids.
And it's like 330 days out of 360 days they're seeing you. This is crazy amount of time, man.
No, listen, the bonds you build, like, it's deep. You know, it's deep.
I hear you. Like, for example, you know the way, like, the youth come from an environment, and then the environment sometimes can sometimes not be very healthy. Yeah. Now, how important do you think it is reconnecting to your roots when it comes to shaping your identity? How important was it for you?
Bro, it's so important, bro. Like, so important. I think when we grow up, and especially in school, like, we're not taught our history. We're not taught anything.
Diaspora is the we he's talking about.
Yeah. We're not taught who we are and where we come from, etc., etc. And I feel like unless you go out of your way to really do your research,
you're never gonna know.
You're never gonna know. And I remember one time in uni, I spent like 3 months just researching Africa, like, really going deep into it. And I don't know, the history was one I could be proud of. You know, like, the history was literally one I can be proud of. Even if you just look at the pyramids, like, till today, just baffles scientists. They don't know how they did it. Exactly. You know, to the point where some are even saying, like, aliens came down. You know, imagine you're so intelligent.
Give it to the aliens.
Like, you're saying, like, aliens did it. You know, so it's interesting. And roots is deeply important, because I feel like, especially a lot of young Africans, we're brought up as Christians, you know, and that's not our culture, you know, and nobody's going to tell me that's our culture because Christianity was brought to Africa by Europeans.
That's an internal thing,
So it's like, well, and even like the music we listen to, the things we eat, etc., etc. This is not us, and then we wonder why we wake up, like, and we're just like, you know, we're depressed, etc. Because this is like getting a fish and putting it in a tree, and then after expecting it to do
swim
well.
then?
We're out of our environment, bro.
Crazy.
And this is why most of like my guys who go Congo and that, or they go back home, when they come, they're just like, yo, I didn't want to come back. You know,
Yeah.
because it's
Of
like,
course.
that's home, you know, like, and you get that sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I don't know. I've never been Congo.
Never
But when
have
my-
I.
Never.
but
You
you
gotta go soon.
we gotta go, bro.
Yeah,
Nigel
facts.
went in it, you know Nigel.
Yeah, my nigga.
And he told me it's crazy. Like, he went out there and he said it was all black people.
That's what I'm
Congolese
thinking.
people. And obviously,
Imagine.
you expect that.
No,
but
it's
obviously, I'm just
baffling.
thinking like,
You're not used to it.
I'm on a bus and people see
Yeah.
Logistically,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's actually crazy.
You're not used to
bro.
it. You get on a bus, you're supposed to see like 1 or 2 white people.
No. Straight.
And I think back, like, over
It's
here
beautiful
in
as
the
well.
Western world, like, I don't know, you won't really be appreciated and valued. I feel like when you go home, like, you're surrounded by more love in it.
100%. Wow.
So yeah, the roots is really important. But students right now, like kids right now, I think technology is just messing them up, like on
In what
a
way?
different level.
Whoa.
Because we didn't have like technology is becoming a powerful force. Do you know what I mean? To the point where I don't even think we have control over it.
I don't think it's just kids.
Oh, bro.
Some of these adults are moving a bit.
You mean the whole
But
world's
shall I
finished?
tell you what scares me? It's like I'm 27 and social media has messed up some of my friends to the point where like they can't have a good time without snapping it. And
Literally.
like, so, like now it's normal because everyone snaps, but it's like when you actually think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, do you know what I mean? A lot of it's just like social validation.
Performative.
You
yeah.
just took
performative.
Why are you taking a selfie on this train for?
Like I don't like when you just think about it. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like
yeah.
more time I'll snap like kind of when I'm with my people. Do you know what I mean? Like to show them love, but it's rarely just like
Yeah.
like, I used to do that bears though.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I
like,
know.
But you know these kids, man, they got like Twitter, TikTok. We didn't have that. We had like
Yeah.
MSN. Do you know what I mean?
Simpler formats.
Simpler, bro.
Yeah.
Even like
When you're
MSN, I had to wait,
Club
go
Penguin.
home.
Yeah.
after
See if
school.
mama responds or not.
Guys now like they're in school and they're snapping.
Instant.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
These
yeah.
youngers don't know about Club Penguin, man.
Mm.
And Habbo Hotel, man.
But what I will say is that everything is documented extremely accurately nowadays. Obviously, compared to back in the day where it'd just be a figment of your memory and a collective of memories, it's literally something.
They are.
Yeah, right there. Like when you was in year 7, that video you made is still here. Like,
Yeah.
But you know what? What's crazy is like I don't know how I feel about
I think that
That
messes it up though.
what.
I think that messes it up.
What?
We'll continue. I think that the way it's documented now, you're fixating on the image in the video and you forget about all the details of the whole
present.
experience.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
Yeah.
because you know, yeah, like when you really think about it, nothing can be reality can't be cinematically captured.
Yeah.
Like I can take a picture
You can only capture
of
so much.
us, but I've captured this side and you
Yeah.
can't see that side.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's only when you're really here.
Mhm.
So it's like people have the ability to show you what they want to show you. Do you know what I mean? But
Can be manipulated.
And even in
of
that,
course.
you could have took that picture. That's 1 second of our time in here.
Yeah.
We could have been scrapping the whole time
time,
after.
Wow, you know, it's funny. Like, well, my friend went on holiday, like some girl, or she went on holiday, and she went on holiday with a man. And obviously, if you look at the videos,
Yeah.
like it's just you're just
Lituation.
thinking, oh,
Vacation.
vacation.
Yeah.
You're thinking, what am I doing? Just hearing the ends. Like when I spoke to her, she was like, no, like we was arguing the whole holiday. He pissed me off. He did this. I'm just thinking, bruh.
Social media in a nutshell.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
but obviously, if you don't know any better, you'll be thinking your life is rubbish.
And you're chasing someone else's life, which isn't even a reality.
I feel
Exactly.
like everyone's just become their own PR person.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't need to do that. No, like in the grand scheme of things, like no one cares.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's also
And it's not even in a
causing-
bad way. That's not even in a bad way. Sorry.
Yeah, nobody, like, not even in a rude way, but like, do your thing, but don't try to stunt for people. That's what I don't get. It's like, if I don't know, I get a new house, for example. I think like before, like, if people get a house, they praise God. Do you know what I mean? Do
Yeah,
family.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
now, the first thing I want to do
Take a
is
picture with the keys.
snap it with the keys. Do you know what I mean? And it's like,
Shit about
you know what? And a lot
Don't
of
know about
it's
the
like,
process,
Yeah.
the
bruv,
savings,
what's-
the pains.
what's crazy here is like, I believe like everything we have, everything we do, everything I have the ability to do is by God's grace, right? Like I'm a huge believer in that. It's like we can't really take credit. We have to all the glory belongs to God. Do you know what I mean? But we live in a generation where like we thank ourselves first and thank God afterwards. Do you know what I mean? It's like I did this. Do you know what I mean? Not thank God because this happened, but it's like I did this, I managed to do this. Do you know what I mean? A lot of it's just stunting, bro. People
But
just
it
stunning.
depends on your belief system as well. Because if you're not Christian like that,
Mm.
you can look at all the work you put in to like achieve this and say, yeah, but pat yourself. There's nothing wrong with giving yourself a pat on the back, but there's like ways of doing it where there's some humility to it.
Yeah, but imagine like me just saying, yeah, I work for this. let me give myself on the pat on the back, and then I record myself. Guys, I did this. Do you know what I mean? It's like
a bit weird.
Exactly.
it's not genuine no more. You're just doing it
For
so
someone
You're,
else's thing.
you're showing
clout.
us. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for us.
And there's a
We
certain,
don't care.
and I'm honest enough to say like unless I'm posting a lot of motivational stuff, which is like what I kind of do. Like I'll post sometimes. Do you know what I mean? I'll post my car, whatever. But I'm honest enough to say that's just me stunting. I don't need to do that.
Yeah. Some man use the stunting thing as the motivational purposes now, though.
No, what
You see the man with the money stack on their head, motivational purposes.
No, that's not motivation, man. they call it, they call that motivation. It's just stunting.
Motivational
bro.
purposes.
It's stunting, fam. It's stunting, bro.
But I'm gonna spin it real quick. I'm so sorry. But I wanted to ask you this beforehand, but since you touched on it as well, you're highly faith, like you're very much in tune with your spirituality, would you say? What do you think now that you're on the other side of it? Well, I think anyway, you're on the other side of like, depression and whatever. What do you think kind of attributed you to actually getting into that kind of mindset and then actually coming out of that mindset?
Yeah. I think like my environment affected it. As I said, like when I went to uni, the drinking, the party, and we just got into like done a lot of decadent things that we didn't really need to do. But it's uni, innit?
I like that word.
You know, like like but it's uni. But as we grew up, like we knew that we were outgrowing it. Do you know what I mean? You know, in final year when you don't want to party, but it's like, do I want to? Do you know what I mean? But eventually you just get bored of it, man. It's just like repetitive. It's the same. Like, I'll be standing in a party and I'm like, why am I here?
Was your depression period like over the course of uni?
Yeah, over the course of
the whole time.
The whole time.
And it started in uni.
Started.
Didn't have any problems before uni.
No, that was the best years of my life.
Crazy.
Like literally the best years of my life.
Sometimes it just hits you.
Wow.
Bro, but when it hit me, it hit me deep. Like it hit me because
that didn't force it. Some people when they get hit with depression, they start questioning everything, and then they start going like belief shopping.
Yeah.
It didn't do that for you, did it?
Yeah, it did.
It did.
Yeah, like when I went into depression, I wanted to understand like why I was feeling that way. I wanted to understand myself. I wanted to understand life. Like, and I wanted to make sure like how I feel now, like I never feel like this again. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I just started looking at everything. As I said, I started researching into like our roots, Africa, etc. I started looking at Buddhism. I started looking at Islam. I started looking at Hinduism, Judaism. I looked into everything that could give me like a little bit of peace, And when I kind of took some from here, took some from here, took some from
That's
here.
how I feel like it's supposed to be.
And that's what it's supposed to be. I don't think there is a truth. There's just many truths that you kind of like make
Bring
work
together.
for you.
Was it like when you started to like get an understanding of not only who you are but the world around you as well? Was that start to give you a bit more peace? Maybe this world is shit, but it's like it's shit for a reason.
Yeah.
And there's not anything that I can do on my own about it other than just keep going. Like, don't give up on myself and keep believing in myself and achieving what I need.
You know what's funny? One thing you said is like the word world is shit. Like, and I think that's all just based on perspective.
Half
you know what
empty,
I mean?
I was gonna say.
Like, I think like knowing.
Powerful,
this is
bro.
why it's like me and Chris, we live in the same world, but we're experiencing different worlds.
Exactly the same.
What I'm like, we can be like, for example, that light over there. What Chris is seeing is impossible for me to see it because I'm not him. Like, I can't physically put myself. So that means you have a point of view and perspective that's not very unique. It's like that's the only one. Do you know what I mean? There's no other perspective
Got you.
for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's your perspective, and that's going to be yours forever.
Sometimes that trips me out, I'm like, Ross.
I said sometimes, bro.
I won the sperm race.
No, but
imagine if it was
first and foremost.
Imagine if it was another like sperm cell.
You know what? Like when I started researching,
Who would that be?
One thing that kind of helped, like I started researching into everything. I'm telling you, like,
yeah.
And one thing I learned is like, life and reality is so intricate. Do you know what I mean? It's too intricate. It's like really intricate to the point where if you look at like your fingertips and then you look at the inside of a tree, it looks very similar. And it's like, how is that possible? Do you get it? As you said, there's like millions and millions and millions of sperms. It's like you are the one that's here.
Made it,
And even if you think about like, forget that. Let's just say you didn't make it. For you to like survive from 0 to 27 or 25, do you know how many things could have happened to you that would have stopped you from being here?
I could have got licked down by that car at 12. I'm not gonna lie,
bro.
The other ones.
School, like,
you see, when you start thinking about all them occurrences, them coulda, woulda, shoulda been, my brain just goes.
No, bro.
That just goes to show like you're here for a purpose, innit? You're here for a reason because if you like,
the odds are too slim.
The odds are too slim. It's not even trillions. It's like
It's too
numbers
slim.
we can't.
Fathom.
Okay. I'm gonna touch on something you said to a question you said. Yeah. So when you say life is shit, yeah.
I said the world.
The world
the
is
world.
shit.
Look back on history.
Yeah.
And from
So,
that perspective, when he said perspective, that actually added to it.
Okay, so if you take like a previous conversation about school, we acknowledge that there's an environment and patterns are being repeated, and you're seeing in your new students stuff you saw when you were a child. Yeah. I think that truth would leave some grounds to argue that some environments are shit for the kids, and I think that's somewhat objective. I don't think that's a perspective. You will still disagree.
No. I think everything's subjective. Because
okay, fair enough.
For example, I think like every environment influences people differently, right? So I can be born in the ends, and because I didn't have money, because like that motivates me to work hard, So even though is a quote unquote shit environment, is an environment that will motivate me, And some people can either be overwhelmed by it, and some people can be motivated by it. Similarly, if I come from a family that's really, really rich, that environment can force me to be lazy, and they won't motivate me. It's like my dad's rich, So it's just perspective, which environment is like. It's not about environment; it's what you do with your environment. That's how I see it.
Because it's all a tool.
It's all a tool. Like there's friends I grew up with who are in prison. Some are dead, and it's just the choices we made. Obviously, I'm not saying like those who passed away. That's because of their choices. Like and that's obviously it's beyond our fate. But in terms of like decisions, like what do I want to do? Am I going to like
the life you lead?
Yeah, a lot of them just made the wrong decision.
And it's not something to shame anyone for. But it's just like it is what it is.
Okay,
and this is the outcome.
You mentioned something in your blurb where you said external wars.
Thank you for touching on the book. I was about to get into that. Thank you.
So, 333?
333,
yeah. Tree, my nigga.
So, explain like the background behind the book. Like, how did it come into fruition?
Bro, that book, man. So basically, when I was in uni, as I said, I was like going through depression, and it was like deep depression. I can't even articulate how I felt because it was so bad. Do you know what I mean? But anyways, I think it was like after I got back into uni, I think it was 2014, that summer, or 2015 actually, that summer I went to see like my cousin and my friend. She was my cousin / best friend, so I call her cousin and a friend. And we were super close. Her name was Valley, and she used to she was way ahead of her time, like when I was 18 and 19, we were having like deep conversations, not about like, I don't know, like Facebook, Twitter, we're talking real stuff, like Black history, where we've come from, Islamophobia, racism, like fat shame, like things that are like real life, as I said, religion, etc. And that summer I spent like so much time with her, like so much time where I just go, like, I don't know, it's like, when you have someone almost you look up to, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not putting anyone on a pedestal, but it's like, you're actually so amazing, do you know what I mean? The way you are, etc. And one thing about me, I didn't read, like right now I've got like a crazy library, I've got a lot of books I love reading. By the time I didn't read, so I spent a lot of time with them. And I always used to ask her, like, how are you so patient? How are you so kind? How are you so loving? How are you so forgiving? How are you so knowledgeable? And one thing she always used to say was just like, read, like, Jeff, read, get into reading. Like, it's going to open you up into into another world. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, like in 100 years, like, I'm going to be dead probably, but like if someone reads my book, they can kind of get an insight into how I felt and my mind. And like you connect with people who are not here no more. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a very powerful tool.
100%.
Like a very powerful tool. So, at the time we didn't, obviously, I wasn't really working and she was going through her own stuff. So we didn't have like a lot of money. So we said we're going to like book share, so rather than us both buying a book, I'll buy a book and I'll give it to her and basically just like start a book club, just both. Yeah. And she gave me my first book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
That's a good book, I read that book like 8 times,
Like she gave me that book, She said, Jeff, just read it, just read a book. I was just like, all right, cool. I remember I was going to my cousin's house that day. And literally, from when I got on the train until I went to sleep that night, I just read the whole book. And I was like absolutely dumbfounded. I was just like, wow. But you know what's funny? At the time, I didn't really understand the book. Oh, really? Did you get it? I only understood it like last year.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Funny enough.
But you still felt the magnitude of the information.
I understood it was a very important book.
What did you take from it from the first read then?
from the first read, I took like just never give up. Right? Like you know how he had to leave a certain he had to go through all and
obstacles.
The gold was
Spoilers alert, yeah.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
ahead.
yeah, spoiler alert.
So never give up. But what's funny is like
It's a banging
like
book,
he
though.
found the gold, and my first understanding is just never give up, work hard, and you'll get what you want, which is like a fair understanding. But I think if you go even deeper into that, like there's this kind of esoteric understanding as well, where
explain that.
He
Please,
found esoteric is like like metaphysical, is a bit spiritual, it's beyond like do you know what I mean?
Conception and stuff.
Exactly. So my second understanding is he found the gold where he was at the beginning of the novel.
Yeah.
You get it? And it's this idea that we are going to, like, we lose ourselves only to find ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And when we lose ourselves, we start looking for this, start looking for that. But once
you had it all along.
You had it all along. You was chasing girls, you was chasing money, you was chasing all of that.
Yeah.
But you already had that sense of fulfillment. And it's only when you get something, you realize that it don't mean anything. Like, for example, like, when I bought my car, like before I was like, oh my Audi, I can't wait, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Now I got that Audi, I'm driving it. I'm just like, bruv, it's a flipping car, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
Like, fulfillment is going to come from within.
It comes from within. And that's pretty much what I got from it. Like, after.
I think that was probably, do you think that was probably the perfect book to read at that period of your life?
You know
perfect, yeah. And you know what? It's funny as well, because I feel like you never read the same book twice, because the book's the same, but you're a different person. Do you know what I mean? And and I read the book like 3-4 years after she gave it to me. Okay. So I've gone through enough like crazy stuff. Then I read it again and I'm like, bruh.
Whole new understanding.
Like,
nah, I agree.
That's kind of like the story itself.
It's pretty much the
You
story.
go through all this trial tribulations.
And you got it.
And now he's back.
No, but you see
exactly,
with that story, I loved how like there's the poetry. I love fancy writing. So you know when he meets Melchizedek, like the priest guy, when he's getting rid of the sheep. I love that interaction. I love the interaction where he meets the English guy that wants to be the alchemist. Then he finds the actual alchemist,
Bro.
And then you know the way when you say that he came full circle. I agree that he came back to where he was before, but in that journey,
he's not the same person.
He's not the same
He's
person.
Not the same
anymore.
person. Exactly. Yeah. But it's just knowing that this journey is just going to bring you back to yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's that just that knowledge that no matter who I become, I'm still just me, and fulfillment is just going to come from me. Can I just continue?
Go.
So it was Valley that got me into reading. Like, obviously she gave me my book. Then from there, obviously, I started reading a few other books. The book I ordered afterwards was The Zahir by Paulo Coelho, same author.
Okay.
Yeah, same author. So I read that and that was brilliant. That was mind blowing.
What's the name of that one again?
The Zahir, Zahir.
Okay.
So that was amazing. I remember calling her saying, "Yo, like, I'm reading this book in it, like it's amazing, blah blah." And she's like, "Yo, Jeff, like, listen, I told you, like, just start reading." Even when I talk about it, I smile, because you know when it's just like. She'll be like, "I told you, start reading. You're gonna love it. Like, just keep reading, blah blah, etc. etc."
I'm gonna have to start reading some more. You know,
crazy.
That's the second guest who said
I'm
just
inspired.
read books.
I'm inspired.
Listen, I'll drop you some titles, bro. Life changing. Anyways, I'm like, I'll give it to you in like 2 weeks. Like, just hang tight. She's like, cool.
You
When
get
you're ready.
your books quick, you know.
No, I was quick.
You know when he
quick.
said read it from whatever to the house. I said, "Yo, how quick you read, brother? What line was that? What line was that,
bro? You know what? Like at that time, like I'm a type of all or nothing person. You know what I mean? So if I'm reading, like I'm reading. Do you know what I mean? I'm locked in. And at the time, like as I said, I weren't really on the socials and like so. Yeah, I had a lot of time. But anyways, I was supposed to give her the book 2 weeks later. I remember going to my cousin's house and staying there. Christopher, it was his birthday on the 10th. And then the next day from his house, I just went straight to work. So I got to work now, obviously, my suitcase and stuff. And then I'm on my break. So I'm walking around Croydon, just walking around in it. Then I see like a family friend, like, I don't know if you know, somebody called Vinny, but like a real guy. Yeah. So he sees me, and obviously he's the one. But no. What's funny is my cousin called me earlier, and she doesn't really call me. She said, "Jeff, are you okay?" I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why would I not be okay? She's like,
What kind of question is that?
It's like I'm just asking. I'm like, what do you mean you're just asking? Like, are you okay? She's like, no, I'm fine. Just checking on you. I'm like, whatever. From then I was like, that's weird. Yeah. I kind of left it. Then I see Vinny in Croydon, and obviously he's like, bro, have you heard? I'm just like, heard what? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, Valley's dead. I'm like, obviously at the time, I haven't even started crying. I'm just like,
you have to process it a little bit.
It didn't make sense. I'm like, she can't be dead, because I spoke to her the other day. Like, she's not dead. And he's like, bro, she died this morning, fam. I'm like, that's not true. I'm like, that's not true, bro. Let me call her brother. Called her brother. I'm like, fam, like, why am I hearing that? Is this true? Bro, he took like 10 seconds to answer me, fam.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard that silence, I'm just cut off the phone. Just went back to work, went upstairs, just burst into tears. Like, that was like the most heartbreaking thing that's ever happened to me. Do you know what I mean?
Condolences, man.
Yeah, no, love, bro, man. Love, like, yeah, she's shining bright, man. But that's what got me into reading, man. So after that, it was like, that's what lit the fire. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, no, like, obviously need to make her proud. You start reading. So from then, I just kept reading. Like, my library grew. Yeah, I just branched out into like different areas, you know. I was reading about anything. There was nothing that was off, you know what I mean, off limits.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my motivating factor. And what's funny is when we used to talk at her house, we always use quotes. You know, when someone's talking, even this happened a few times in this convo where someone will say something and you're like, and you want to write it down. You're like, wait. That's
a banger.
So as me and her are talking, like, I remember we spoke the whole summer. Like, I'll go like literally every day from like 3 to like 10 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? Just sitting down, just taking it in. Do you know what I mean? Discussing.
What was the age difference between you two?
I was like 18. I think I was 19 or 20 and she was 25 when she died. So it's like 5 years. Yeah. So we used to talk a lot, and a lot of the things she used to say, I'll be like, I can't let that go over my head. I need to write this down. So I just started writing down a lot of the things she used to say, and it just turned into like quotes. Do you know what I mean? I'm just writing down quotes. Even sometimes I'll be talking to her, I'll say something. I'm like,
that was a banger.
Did I just say that, boss? Write that down, bro. So after a while, like, yeah, bro, it's funny.
I know the one.
Yeah, you shock yourself. You're like, I'm actually deep. Like, I got bars. So, bro, like, at the end of it, now obviously, like, we kept saying like, yo, like, bruv, let me write this down. Let me write this down. And eventually, we was like, bruv, all these quotes, let's just release it. Like, let's release a book full of quotes. Like, because we're using some deep quotes and people need to hear this. Sometimes I wish, like, I don't know, someone was just like a fly in the wall, just recording it so in the future it can come out. Do you know what I mean? It was so deep. But anyways, by the end of, like, obviously by the time she died, I just had like a bank full of quotes. Do you know what I mean? Like, so many quotes. So yeah, I'm thinking, let me release a book of quotes, but how many quotes? Do you know what I mean? So I start thinking, and my favorite number is 3. You know, so I'm like, okay, I want 3 to be involved, but I'm not going to do 33 because that's too little. So I'm going to release 333. You know, and even like angel numbers, that's like kind of like significant, etc.
100%. Explain the significance of the 3, please.
And explain why 3 is your favorite number, please.
Thank you.
Well, firstly, it's because I'm born on March the 3rd. Like, so it's literally the 3rd, March the 3rd day. Oh, what, February the 3rd?
Yeah. 3 boys.
Free. But also it's like 3, there's 2 numbers that are really important, 2 and 3. 2 because it's like dual, you know, there's up, down, there's black, there's white, etc.
Duality, whatever.
Exactly, duality. But 3 is equally as important, even if you think about like Christianity, you know, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, etc., etc. And even in science, there's 3s. I forgot what it is, but like it's a significant number. You know, so I
balance
thought, why
and
not?
resurrection and
balance, resurrection, new life. To be honest, I didn't really go too deep into like what it meant.
Reading about numbers significance back in the day though.
Now I know, you know what? I think it means like new beginnings or something. New start. And for me, that book was like almost like a new start. Just another stage of my journey.
Now you see with that book,
heavy.
How difficult was it to write the book after her passing? That must have been hard then.
Bro, it was hard, man. It was hard. You know what? It's funny because I didn't start working on 333 initially. Like I started working on The Beauty of War. Now,
that started before the book that came out after.
333. Yeah, let me tell you how it happened. It's interesting because I started writing The Beauty of War, and initially it was going to be a book of quotes, but then for some reason I just got deep and I started annotating each quote. So it's a quote, then annotation, basically like what I think it means to me, and then I started doing that. And by the time I finished it, I was like, this isn't what I wanted to do. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've done it, but I was just like, I just wanted a book of quotes. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, cool, let me keep this here. And then let me just take the quotes and forget the annotation. So I just took the quotes and I released 333. But I think the next one is going to be The Beauty of War, which is going to be like an adaptation of 333 where I just go deep into the quotes.
Deluxe edition, baby.
Deluxe edition.
We got 21 tracks on this one.
If you were to give like a blurb to listeners about what they would take from the book 333, you said quotations, but like what would I take?
Yeah.
What would I take?
So my philosophy is like it's multifaceted, but I'll just tell you some of the points that like I believe in. So firstly, like we're all connected.
Mhm.
Yeah, like on a very, very deep level, on a spiritual level, right?
Mhm.
Like not only are we human, like obviously that connects us, but even on a spiritual level, do you know what I mean? Like in most religions, if you look at what they're trying to get to, it's literally
It's the same
that we're
thing.
all connected, and
Mhm.
hence why, like, you know, Jesus was calling everyone brothers and sisters. He
Yeah.
didn't call them sons and daughters. He
Mhm.
said
Yeah.
brothers and sisters because we're literally one family with one God.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think in society, what they do is that they divide us. Do you know what I mean? They divide us into so many different, like,
Categories and labels.
exactly.
And demographics and all
Exactly. Whereas I don't know, like even Bob Marley, when he's saying like we're one love, one family, I
Mhm.
think
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
like,
And that's why it's a deeper one still.
that's deep. Like
Yeah.
so that's the first thing. We're all connected, and how you treat others is like how you treat yourself,
So
etc.
So someone that is feeling disconnected, the book will help them to have a better understanding of how we're connected.
Well, I hope so. You know, I hope they can take something like that. But that's definitely kind of that's what I hope. You know, that's what I hope to achieve. I hope they can kind of see we're interconnected. Also see, not even see, just take responsibility for their own happiness. Do you know what I mean? Like I posted this on Instagram yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, Chris. When I said it's selfish to give someone else the responsibility of making you happy when you can't even do it for yourself. Do you know what I mean? I can't make myself happy.
Yeah.
But I expect you to come.
Do you know the
And
ones
it's like,
change my life.
you know what I mean?
on some godly shit?
And once again, it's like a plaster, you know, that girl's there, so your life is good. As soon as the girl goes, like your life is
empty
shit
again.
again.
Yeah.
And it's like making sure that you have a certain level of self-happiness before
Holy.
you start. Do you know what I mean?
Self-love, innit?
Self-love, innit?
This is a message for the generation, you know. You know the ones there.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's self-love. But I think like internally, everyone wants to love themselves, but like in society, when we're talking about social media and we're talking about everything, it makes you want to hate yourself. So it's like you're constantly fighting between like trying to love yourself whilst navigating this world that just tells you that you're shit and not good enough.
Anxiety inducing, all these type of things, competition all the time.
Constantly showing you what happiness. This is what happiness.
This is what happiness looks like, and this is why, like,
but the mirage, like we was talking about earlier,
it's a mirage, bro. Like most of them people, bro. Do you think they don't like have belly aches? Do you know what I mean? Do you think their belly, their poo don't stink?
Yeah,
like
facts,
they're
facts,
human beings.
facts,
like they
facts,
wake
facts,
up with snot on their nose, thinking,
literally,
oh,
crossing their eyes,
do you know
same
what I
as all
mean?
of us.
Sometimes we think they wake up and they're just like
Perfect.
looking like like they're human beings, bro. If they burp, it's gonna be nasty. Do you know what I mean? Like whoever they are, like
facts.
They get the bubble guts as well, man.
Holy.
Yeah, fam. So yes.
Well, you see with that, yeah, because the fact that I met you when I was younger, and when you were younger,
yeah,
it's
crazy.
nice to see how like you've evolved to find a version of you that you can withstand the external war with trying to make you feel like you're not good enough. I feel like that's something we all need to do. You need to pursue what makes you happy
100%.
and do what brings you joy.
Yeah, and I think like just leave people to do what makes them happy, innit? Do you know what I mean? I think
Mm.
obviously we have to take a certain degree of like
Kind of guide or whatever.
exactly collective responsibility.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but ultimately, if someone wants to get a boob job and it makes them happy, do you know what I mean? That's nothing to do with me. I only recommend that people just like learn to love themselves before they make them decisions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like just try, like, you know what I mean? Give yourself time, because how you feel now is not how you're gonna feel in like 2 years. Do you know what I mean?
Because emotions aren't fixed.
Right, exactly.
They're
like,
always dynamic.
there's so many like girls and even young men, because men get surgery as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
we spoke about this.
I think
gym and BBLs and stuff.
we get onto girls a lot, like, and I think it's unfair. It's unwarranted because guys like do things as well. But anyways, but it's like, what was my point? I was literally heading somewhere and I kind of.
You were speaking on BBLs, loving girls loving themselves.
People doing what makes them happy.
Yeah, people just doing what makes them happy. As I said, like, I've met so many people who, when they were 18, they're like, Jeff, I hate myself. I'm ugly. I want to change this. By the time they're 24, and it's like they're a new person. They had different experiences.
You haven't even unlocked your.
Do you know
yourself
what I mean?
yet.
And that's the thing. People be like, no, I know I've like blah blah blah. But
Jumping
like,
the gun.
how could you know who you are when your idea of yourself is constantly changing? Do you know what I mean? And this is why it's really bad to say this is me. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you don't know what life exactly. There's no absolutes. Do you know what I mean? And there's so many people like that can never be me. That can never be me. And it's like, it turns out to be you.
See with society, yeah, wrapping this all together, before we finish.
Thank you.
With society, though, they try and stamp identity on you, and they tell you that this is all you will ever be.
Yeah.
And then some people are unfortunate that they make a decision that locks into that identity when they're young, and they don't give themselves time to like evolve. So for example, I grew up listening to drill. I will always argue, like, for example, if you take like Harlem, if their man them didn't get killed or sent to prison, a lot of them would have grew past what they were.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
if you know what I mean, and we'll found other stuff because you've seen it in people like Blanco. If you know what I mean, like you've seen how with enough time he's just matured.
Yeah, of course.
And then now he's finding something that he enjoys to do.
Yeah. I think.
Go.
I think like we're just extremely lucky and extremely blessed. Do you know what I mean? That's how I see it. It's like the fact that we're here. Obviously, we're all from the ends. Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's been people who, through no fault of their own, obviously, like things have happened to them. Do you know what I mean? And even in my school, like last year, we lost 2 students. Do you know what I mean? And that was like real hard to take. We lost them to knife crime as well.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
So it was like that was dark, but it made me realize like, you're alive. You got an opportunity to change your life. Do you know what I mean? I feel like as we grow up, like when we're younger, our identity is enforced upon us. Do you know what I mean? You're a Christian, you're this, you're that, you're this. But as you grow up, you start kind of finding a way for yourself. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, you just need to make sure that whatever life you're living, you're just happy with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and this is you. Do you know what I mean? And obviously change is hard, but obviously like just don't give up.
Give yourself room to change as
Room
well.
to change and space. And space to make mistakes as well.
100%.
With like mental health and depression, especially like when it teeters towards like suicidal thoughts and stuff like that, I've always believed that like if you have those thoughts in your mind, you should always just think to yourself, if I go today, this won't get better. It stops here. And there's no as long as I'm alive, as long as I could talk to people that I love and all that stuff like that and get the support I need, I can change my circumstances.
There's a Bible verse that says that literally that for those who breathe, there's still hope. You know?
Oh, okay.
I feel like this conversation has been a lot to do with connecting with your society. So reconnecting with yourself and connecting to your society and just general love.
Trust me. Next time I come on, like obviously, on Monday I'll go speak to my head teacher and get clearance for certain things because of, like the story. I literally want to tell you like my story and what I've gone through. But obviously, I want to make sure that it doesn't compromise.
That makes sense. It was a pleasure having you, though. It was a very enjoyable conversation
every single time.
Love, guys.
I knew this was going to be a banger.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you being here, bro.
Facts.
This has been Urban Era 404.
Wow.
Your host, Nisi Way, Money Way, Zaire Way.
Wow.
We have CK, Ish, Mr. Efficient in the back.
Yeah.
We have DJ on the mic.
Yeah.
We have Jeffrey. You handled this proper, you know. You handled this proper.
What a pro.
Shout out to Average Joe, Flyda, and
so Glody.
This
Another banger.
It's been Open Air 404. Well, find us on Anchor. Find us on Spotify and YouTube. Hit up our Instagram.
And just before you end, you got 5 minutes of selfless promo. Where are you taking this and where can we find you?
All right, cool. Jefferson Bosela. That's my handles for everything. So Instagram, Twitter. Twitter's not serious though.
How do you spell your second name?
Jefferson Bosela, Bosela.
Yep.
So normally find me on Insta. Twitter's just like football stuff. That's not serious. But
I'm following you on Twitter then. That's calm.
We're out there. Obviously, man. 333. I released my book 333.
It's a banger.
What platforms,
bro? It's on Amazon. It says on Amazon. I think
proper things.
£11, £12.
Does it have an electronic version, a hard copy?
Yeah, got Kindle copy as well. So if you got a Kindle, you can get that. But yeah, it's just a book of quotes. I think like anyone who's on their spiritual journey of self-love, like definitely get that. I think in the future, definitely that's going to be like a very big book.
Thank you.
Yeah, amen to that.
Thank you.
No, I think that's what's done. You know.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. We'll see you again soon, my bro.
Love my guys. Man.
Appreciate you.
Love guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, crowd. Thank you very much.